The aggressive sex drive.
Vasopressin and oxytocin.
Testosterone is supposedly the best known sex hormone of all. But I'm going to break many conventional assumptions and expose you to new facets of its character. I'll introduce you to testosterone's influence on both sexes, its effect on mood, personality, power, aggression, and sex. Can we control testosterone, or does it control us? Are women getting their fair share? Can we get even more? And if so, is this desirable? Men have about 20 to 40 times more testosterone than women, which is one reason why our sex drives are so different. This forceful hormone is responsible for the active libido, the drive associated with sexual appetite, attention, motivation, and action. While testosterone does increase your sex drive, it fosters masturbation over intercourse. Men often feel guilty or immature that they continue to masturbate as adults, even after marriage with a willing, appealing woman available. But adult masturbation is not just a persistent adolescent pattern. It's a forceful impulse from a natural hormone. Under normal conditions, testosterone is higher in the morning, lower at night, vacillating up and down in between. This may be one reason many men feel more vigorous and virile at dawn than at dusk. Testosterone also peaks and cycles over the course of a lifetime, first peaking prenatally in males, then at puberty for both sexes. As the chief testicular stimulant, testosterone makes and pampers sperm. We do not see much action from this sexist hormone until puberty, when adolescent boys are overcome by testosterone toxicity, and it seems as if all their other hormones have gone fishing. Teenage boys become walking grenades, just waiting for someone to pull their pin. Once a man survives puberty and enters adulthood, his testosterone levels off, dropping slightly in the 30s, and maintaining itself well until his 50s or 60s, after which there is a gradual decline. This decline is truly minimal compared to what most people anticipate, and can't completely account for the diminished sexual drive and function common to so many men as they age. Contrary to what was once believed, testosterone is not for men only. A woman first encounters its power at puberty, when the ovaries start to produce increased amounts of testosterone. It is this testosterone, not estrogen, that causes the heightened erotic sensitivity of the clitoris, breasts, and nipples. Testosterone can be a source of confusion for both sexes. It compels toward masturbation on the one hand, and boosts the aggressive, proactive sex drive on the other, putting both sexes on the prowl. Sometimes one compulsion wins out, sometimes the other, depending on what other hormones are at play and who, if anyone, is available. It increases desire, yet decreases tactile sensitivity, especially of the penis. It causes irritability and aggression, yet is an antidepressant. The biochemical urge we call the sex drive comes in two basic styles, aggressive and receptive. The aggressive sex drive is controlled not just by testosterone, as most people think, but also by vasopressin, DHEA, serotonin, dopamine, and a substance called LHRH. The receptive sex drive, which we will investigate more thoroughly later, has been overlooked altogether in humans by researchers and therapists alike. Receptive doesn't necessarily mean passive. It can include available, willing, and interested, but not dominating. By contrast, the aggressive or active drive means interested and motivated to pursue sex, often against all odds. And while estrogen governs the former, testosterone the latter, neither one works alone, but always in concert with a variety of other substances. It follows that women are generally more receptive, men more aggressive. Although the tables can turn, particularly at certain stages in our lives. At any rate, the dichotomy of feminine and masculine is fundamental. Just as testosterone separates the sexes physically at birth, it separates them emotionally as adults. Testosterone motivates the male to strive for separateness in ways a woman is not designed to comprehend. He wants to be alone. But psychologically, and sometimes physically, she wants to visit. He will fight her intrusion on his privacy, and in the process of defending his solitude, his resistance can transform into active aggression, which, ironically, often winds up in sex. Testosterone is often at odds with itself and others. It wants novelty, shuns commitment, but presumes ownership. The female sex requires accommodation for fertilization and mothering to occur. In turn, the male resists commitment or accommodation, another testosterone effect. On the other hand, ownership of females is of critical interest to him because of testosterone territorialism. Novelty is also important to male sexual desire, more so apparently than for the female. The aggressive sex drive seems to crave variety. Sexually exhausted males will perk up like dandelions if a new prospect arrives.
Okay, hold up. There we go. Alright, who this?
When society is in danger, men's hormones are desirable. That's hormones, not hormones. However, when peace prevails, these very men tend to disrupt the home they are charged to protect. What happens when men have abnormally high levels of these hormones? Men and animals with higher testosterone levels are more aggressive than those with lower levels. A Pennsylvania State University sociologist named Alan Booth obtained the hormone levels of 4,462 men and then studied the history of their relationships. He found that those men with high testosterone were less likely to get married. More troubling was what they were like when they did get married. They were more prone to having affairs, hitting their wives or throwing things, and leaving home because they could not get along with their spouses. One Scandinavian study suggests that the higher men's testosterone levels, the higher the divorce rate. Not surprisingly somehow, a high testosterone male is more self-centered, selfish, and has a personality profile not unlike a psychotic. But some women think he's absolutely irresistible. In other words, these guys win over a woman with their aggressive pursuit and sex appeal. Once the conquest is made, they might be good at bringing home the bacon, but they tend to resemble pigs themselves. Competitive situations bring out testosterone-dependent aggression. We see it in office politics, in singles bars, in courtrooms, and most clearly of all, in sports where teams and individuals compete for positions of great status. Here, winners and losers are clearly defined. In fact, a great many studies have shown that testosterone goes up in victory and down in defeat, and that high testosterone appears to be the result of winning more so than the cause. These studies demonstrate a most important feature of male psychobiology. Men who achieve status through their own efforts feel good as a result and experience a boost in their hormone levels. A study of soldiers in officer candidate school found that testosterone levels declined in the arduous early stages, but went up at graduation. Clearly, when they were being stressed, oppressed, and dominated by superiors, the trainees' hormones were suppressed. With success, when they became superiors themselves, their testosterone surged. The advantage of pecking orders is that a defeated male may recover quickly by bullying another animal, lowering the pack, thus returning his testosterone to normal by this displacement behavior. So, the man who is pushed around all day at some miserable job can recover his masculine dominance by making his subordinates, or wife and children, miserable later on. According to your sex hormones, men are still swinging from vines, and women are still answering the call of the wild, whether we approve or not. Fortunately, that isn't all there is to the story. We are not destined to repeat senselessly the rituals of our ancestors. Nonetheless, it would be wise to honor our heritage and recognize the forces that draw us toward primitive patterns, which have the power to influence the nature of relationships we've grown today. Clearly, testosterone is not the only molecule that generates lust. There is, in addition, a complex interaction of chemicals, including peptides, various neurotransmitters, and other hormones that play a leading and/or supporting role. I had introduced you to the aggressive sex drive, most characteristic of the male, but more common to the female than anyone, until now, has been willing to acknowledge. Next, we are going to explore the mysteries of estrogen and the